Hello and welcome back to the Easy Odds Premier League video cast.
First time since May.
It's finally back. Oh man, I'm so excited. I couldn't be more excited, I don't think. This season is going to be just ridiculous. The managers we have in the league are just going to, there's just going to be a Royal Rumble.
It's going to be a Royal Rumble,
It's going to be a Royal Rumble to end off the season, because everyone's going to be on equal points, equal goals, equal goal difference. And it's going to have to be a Royal Rumble between Conte, Mourinho, and all the others.
And Big Sam reigning over everyone as England manager.
Big Sam can be the ref.
He could be the Vince McMahon.
He can be the special guest ref, throwing them all out. Okay, let's go. Let's go on to the proper games. First match of the Premier League season this season is Hull versus Leicester. This is the Championship fixture a few years ago.
Yep.
Hull have pretty much no chance of staying up, I would say. They've lost all their players. I don't know how they're going to do it. If they do it, it'll be very impressive. But what I'm hoping for is they get a worse season than Derby did.
That's your big hope.
When we got 11, I wish that every year, but it never seems to happen. Everyone seems to get 11 points by Christmas. So even the bad team, even Villa, even Villa were better.
Even Villa.
So yeah, what's going to happen in the whole Leicester match? Who are the favourites?
Yeah, clear favourites, Jake, are Leicester City. Despite a poor run of results in pre-season, they played plenty of matches in pre-season and only won one of them. That was against League One Oxford. However, the real deal starts on Saturday, and there will be many backing them in the early kick-off. They're a best price, odds against price, somewhat surprisingly, 21 to 20. Premier League champions heading to a newly promoted Championship side, and they're odds against. And we said this time and time again last season in this video section that Leicester were always underrated by the bookies, and it seems to have happened again here.
Yeah.
21 to 20 looks a pretty enticing price. However, Hull have had a pretty horrible build-up to their season themselves. Back in the Premier League after 1 year hiatus in the Championship, their manager Steve Bruce has resigned. Their second top scorer from last season, Mo Diame, has left for Newcastle. They've got a host of injuries. They've got fan protests planned for this match against Leicester. So caretaker manager Mike Phelan seems to have a job in his hands. But if you do fancy the odds to be turned and a Hull win, they're a best price of 17 to 5, so slightly better than 3 to 1.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty big price for a home side, first game of the season.
Yep.
But you don't think that's going to happen, do you?
I don't think it's going to happen. Sorry, Hull fans. I think a Leicester win here is a good price. Foxes have had a poor pre-season, but playing the likes of Man United, Barcelona, PSG will only make the side better in the long haul, I feel. When you play better teams, you become a better team, in my opinion, and that will do them the world of good rather than playing smaller sides. Hull have not scored a single goal in their last 3 fixtures against Leicester in 90 minutes, and even with Robert Hoof suspended for this game, I think the Foxes will outscore them on Saturday. There's plenty of other stats to back up my prediction too, including the fact that the Premier League champions have never lost an opening game in the league when they've opened up their new season. So what's that? Over 20 seasons now.
That's crazy.
And the team that have won the previous year have never lost their opener, so I'll take that. And Hull City have lost all 5 of their early kickoffs in the top division. So going on stats, you got to say that Leicester are going to win this game, which I'm pretty happy with. Hull will pick up more points at home than away from home this season, but I don't think it will be now up against the champions. Claudio Ranieri's side were too good value last season, and I think this is happening again. Odds against value there, 21 to 20, really decent price.
I think that's an incredibly good price. That's a ridiculous price. 21 to 20 against possibly the worst team in the entire league. That's a very good price, I think. And sorry, Tigers, but it just is. Are there any kind of anytime goal scorer price differentials?
As always,
some of them.
As always, I've got a big centre back, and it's Big Wes Morgan. He's available at a worst price of 7 to 1. And you can almost double your money and get 16 to 1 elsewhere.
More than double your money.
So I'll have that, please.
Definitely.
Booker man. Yes, thanks very much. So basically, if you bet with just one bookmaker and that bookmaker offers you 7 to 1, I'm not going to name which one it is that is offering 7 to 1. You'll have to go onto the odds comparison grid and find that out. But the best price available is 16 to 1. So that is such a big difference in price.
Yeah.
And it's for the exact same selection. So that's just the reason why you should be betting with easyodds.com.
16 to 1 is good. 7 to 1 is absolutely awful.
Absolutely. And lastly, there's a bet right offer for this match.
Okay.
And they're offering new customers 30 to 1 that Leicester win this game. So if you haven't got a BetBright account yet, make sure that you open a BetBright account using the code, which is available in my match preview on the site. So head there and get Leicester to win, which I'm backing at 21 to 20 because I've already got a BetBright account. But if I didn't have it, I'd be going straight onto this BetBright code and getting it for 30 to 1.
30 to 1, absolutely huge price. Stupid. It's ridiculous. Next up on Saturday is the evening game. Guardiola takes charge of Man City for his first Premier League game. They're playing Sunderland's David Moyes. David Moyes hasn't really had much luck since his Everton days. He had a really, really tough job at Man United.
He really did,
He didn't do that badly, really. I mean, it was bad compared to Alex Ferguson, obviously, but he picked up a rubbish team. Don't know how United won the league with that team when Ferguson was manager. That's why he's such a great manager.
Absolutely.
But Guardiola, another great manager. Who are the favourites for this? Obviously, it's City. But what price are they?
They are clearly the favourites. They're a silly price of 1 to 4 in the full-time result market. With their match being the late kick-off on Saturday, there's going to be plenty of people that are going to be counting on this result in their accumulators because it's a short price. And it could be the be-all and end-all of your weekend being a good one or a bad one for this result, as it's the late kick-off. 5:30, BT Sport. This match is live on. City won 12 of their 19 home matches last season and scored a ridiculous 47 goals in the process. And considering that Sunderland have never won at Man City in the Premier League in 12 attempts, you have to suggest that backing Man City is probably a wise bet if being short priced. However, Sunderland have also got a new boss, as you alluded to, David Moyes, after Big Sam Allardyce was appointed the England manager and the referee of that Royal Rumble that we're talking about at the top of the video. But Moyes has more wins in the Premier League than any other manager other than Arsene Wenger. So could it be 13 is lucky for David Moyes for Sunderland? And if you think so, their best price here of 14 to 1 to pick up a win at the Etihad against all the odds.
That is enormous.
So if you're an outsider punter, they're probably your pick for the weekend. I can't imagine there's going to be many teams that are a bigger price than that this weekend.
If you put that in your accumulator and it turns out, you'd be extremely happy.
You'd be a brave man, but you'd be a rich man.
And the points will be on you.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So with that in mind, I'm actually going to be backing Man City to win and both teams to score. Best price 2 to 1 in the Easy Odds comparison grid. I can only really see one winner in the fixture, as I alluded to. Sunderland have never won at Man City in the Premier League in 12 attempts, so I can see Man City winning again here. However, the Black Caps are unbeaten in pre-season, including an impressive 1-1 draw against Dortmund. And that was a fully strength Dortmund team as well. And they have scored in every single one of those fixtures as well in pre-season. So I think that as they were a team absolutely possessed last season at the end of the campaign under Allardyce, they actually scored 12 goals in their last 6 matches last season, and they only lost 1 of their last 11. And they've carried that into their pre-season form as well, so they're unbeaten in now. If you include the pre-season form, they've now only lost 1 in 16 games.
Okay.
So it's going to be a tough game for Man City. I think 14 to 1 isn't a bad price at all, to be honest.
No.
But I do think that Man City will probably win the game. But I do think that Sunderland will get on the score sheet. They've got Joe Hart in goal, of course, who's been pretty troublesome throughout the Euros, and in their pre-season games, they actually let in goals in 2 of the 3 games in pre-season, Man City, including letting in 3 against Arsenal last weekend. So they're hardly brilliant defensively, and Sunderland are clearly in the goals at the moment. So I'm backing both teams to score, but Man City to win in the result. Both teams to score market. Best price 2 to 1.
That's very well thought out. Very well thought out indeed. It's a work in progress, isn't it, for Guardiola?
It is.
Eventually, they're going to be really good. I think they've got. I think they've bought quite well.
Yeah.
I think they will be very good by Christmas, maybe. But I think Sunderland might nick. Well, they might nick an early goal. I think go 1-0 up, and then City will be like, oh no, and then Aguero will score 5. He is fantasy football captain for 99% of the people. So if he doesn't score, I'm literally going to be crying.
Yeah, talking of Sergio Aguero, Jake, there's another only a slight difference here, but a still difference all the same, and that means more money for the punter. If you fancy him to score first in this game, and he has scored 3 and 3 against Sunderland, you can get a worse price of 2-1, or get a better price of 5-2. So again, it's the best option for a punter to shop around, use easyodds.com, and find the best possible odds on site for any of your selections, even one that's only a slight difference, 2-1 or 5-2. I'll take the 5-2, please.
I think that's quite a big difference, because when I think of 2-1s, I usually just think, oh, I can't be bothered. It's only 2-1. But 5-2, it's a bit, is it?
Yeah.
That's not too bad. That's what I'd think if I was betting on horses, anyway.
Yeah.
But next up, it's the other side of Manchester against Bournemouth. Bournemouth have been a lot of people's dark horses for the league this season. Obviously, they bought Jordan Ibe for quite a lot of money. But
Lots of money.
But they're expecting big things from him. I think they had a lot of injuries at the end of last season. Quite a few of them have come back now. Obviously, Man United won the Charity Shield, and they've got Ibra scoring. But I don't think Ibra was pretty rubbish in the Charity Shield, really, overall.
But he's still got his goal, didn't he?
He's still got his goal. And obviously, they've got quite a lot of strength from depth now with Pogba as well. They've got a pretty ridiculous team as well. It's going to be a good season. But who are the favourites? I mean, how much are Manchester United the favourites?
Man United are the favourites. They're short priced 5-6. And before I lead into the rest of this, just quickly say a big thank you to our sponsors, Sportingbet, who are sponsoring this video. And of course, they're offering a huge £50 free bet when you sign up with Sportingbet. So if you fancy any of the tips on this video, or a tip that you thought of yourself, then use that free £50 bet for it this weekend. Yeah. And it's absolutely free using sportingbet.com.
That'll be below as well in the description. So
absolutely.
Click on that. Back whatever Ross says for this, or Aguero to score.
Just Aguero to score.
Yeah. And then you'll be absolutely laughing.
So yeah, back to Bournemouth versus Man United. Man United are a best price 5-6, making them short price favourites here, of course. The Red Devils are just coming off the back of their Community Shield win, as you alluded to there. They've beat Leicester, who were the champions last season. Plus, they've just announced the world record signing of Paul Pogba, which has been the saga of the summer, and I'm pretty glad it's over.
Yeah.
However, Bournemouth are unbeaten in their last 4 home meetings against Man United in all competitions, including a 2-1 victory last season. So it's not going to be an easy walk in the park for Man United at all. And if you fancy the Cherries to pick them off, they're a best price 4-1 in the 4-time result market. So that shows actually how less unexpected it would be than Sunderland to beat Man City at the Etihad.
Definitely.
4-1 is a lot of a shorter price than 14-1. But there'll still be some people that go against the grain and fancy that at 4-1. I'm not necessarily one of them, but I'm not going to back Man United to win them this game.
Okay.
I just think Bournemouth away is a difficult tie, first match of the season. I think a better bet here, and actually a better value one, because it's slightly a bigger price, even money, but both teams to score. Man United have spent a mammoth £141 million this close season on bringing in some world-class players. Doesn't necessarily guarantee instant success, so I'm not going to be backing them to win here. I prefer to squeeze a bit more value out of the match, backing both teams to score. Both teams scored in both of the fixtures last season. And with the attacking talent that both teams have brought in, I'm expecting the net to bulge at both ends. Man United kept only 6 clean sheets in 30 away games last season, and they've conceded in all but one of their warm-up games. And Eddie Howe, his side, conceded 34 home goals last season. So really, when you look at those stats, you've got to be thinking that both teams to score is the go-to bet. And in that market, will both teams score? No is actually a worse price than yes. So you're actually getting the best possible value from statistically looking at something that will happen. So even money there, I think, is a decent bet.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good bet. Do you know what? I think Bournemouth have a chance in that game. Yeah. I might be backing them at 4-1.
4-1
in an accumulator. I'd expect them to be a bit bigger than that, to be honest. But how Sunderland? Well, I guess they're at home. But 4-1 is okay. I'll put that in the accumulator. That will
Make it tasty, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'll boost it up nicely with all these other tips.
So I've got another anytime scorer for Jake as well.
Of course. Is it not a big centre back?
It's not a big centre back this time.
It's the opposite of a big centre back.
It's a small, nimble midfielder.
Yeah.
And that's Jesse Lingard, who scored an absolutely messy strike in the Community Shield last weekend. I was watching it with eyes wide open, is that Jesse Lingard? It was an amazing goal, and he's worst price 7-1 to score first here, just like he did at Wembley, but at best price of 10-1. Again, a huge difference for the same selection. So yet again, Easy Odds finding you the best possible value. And lastly, there is a bookmaker offer for this match on our site and also in my full preview on easyodds.com, where Betfair offering new customers Man United to win this game at 6-1.
That's a big price. That's a big price.
So if you don't have a Betfair account, open up one and get them at 6-1.
Okay, the last game we're going to cover is the Sunday mid-ish afternoon match, 4 p.m. The big game of the weekend. This is a huge opening day fixture. This could be between Champions League football or not Champions League football come the end of the season.
It could be, yeah.
It's going to be that tight. It looks like it. Arsenal versus Liverpool. Historically fantastic fixture. Who are the favourites?
Arsenal, the home team, have been made favourites in this fixture after an excellent pre-season where they've remained unbeaten. They scored 17 goals in 5 games and defeated Premier League favourites Man City. So if you fancy them to defeat Liverpool here, and Arsenal have lost just one of their last 9 Premier League matches against them, you can get a best price 7-5.
That is a good price. What price are Liverpool?
Liverpool are going to be a much improved force in my opinion this season. They've had Jurgen Klopp as a manager through pre-season, and pre-season is really important to a manager because it's his time to really set his mould on the team rather than coming in during the season like he did last season, where they were quite inconsistent, and I think it's because he took someone else's team over, whereas now it's a Klopp team. So I can see them doing really well. Plus they've brought in the likes of Mane and Wijnaldum, who are both decent Premier League players as well. And if you think Liverpool are going to pick up their first win at the Emirates since 2011, you can get a best price of 11-5. So it's not actually a huge difference between the two teams, and that's probably quite right because they're quite evenly matched, I'd say. But with home advantage, I think that's fair enough that Arsenal are favourites. Plus with their pre-season form, even with the defensive injuries that they've had throughout the pre-season, I think 7-5 is a pretty fair price, as is 11-5 with Liverpool. Yeah,
I do not have a clue in this, to be honest. I would not be going anywhere near this game in terms of who's going to win the game.
Which is exactly my opinion also. And that's why I've gone to back a late goal. This means that I'll be backing a goal to be scored after the 73rd minute.
Okay. Why is it the 73rd minute?
That's just the way it is on Bet365.
That just means a late goal. It's like the 73rd minute.
And you can get a best price of 5-6 using the Easy Odds grid, which I think is a pretty decent price. There's an interesting stat here for this game, and that was the main reason that I've gone for this selection, is that the games between these sides have seen 16 goals in the 90th minute or later, which is more than any other Premier League fixture. So I think that's pretty vindicating for this selection.
That is a good stat.
Really good stat. And this tip would have landed in 3 of the last 4 fixtures in the Premier League between these sides as well. So I think the fact that we are so early in the season also, with the fact that with pre-season, obviously you work on your fitness a lot, but you don't really have the match sharpness. And I think that late goals happen a lot more at the start of the season because players get more mentally and physically tired. So I think the back of this now, at this stage of the season, is a pretty wise bet for that reason also. So for those reasons, just like it was in the Community Shield, there was a late goal that won that game as well. So I think a late goal, as it's called on Bet365, so a goal to be scored in the 73rd minute or later, that's 5-6 is a decent price here. That
is an interesting bet. That's an interesting tip. A late goal after the 73rd minute, I like that a lot.
So
yes.
5-6 with Bet365, and I've got another big centre half for you.
Oh, good. Callum Chambers.
This time it's Callum Chambers.
Oh, he's not big enough.
He's still only 21, so he's got time to grow. But for him, it's an absolutely huge difference in price. Worst price 9-1, best price 20-1. And the fact that Big Per Mertesacker is not there as their
that's a big centre back.
That is a big centre back as their big target man for corners and set pieces. Chambers may well be that person, and for him to come in and score a goal from a set piece, 20-1.
20-1 or 9-1.
Best price. And lastly, our sponsors for this video, Sportingbet, they've got a pretty cool offer on.
Okay.
So for any of these matches, any Premier League match in August, so that's these matches and all future ones, if a new summer signing scores first, Sportingbet will refund all losing first scorer or correct score bets as a free bet up to £25.
That's nice.
And with plenty of summer signings in these fixtures, if there is a first scorer or correct score bet that you fancy in any of these games, do so with Sportingbet, and if a summer signing scores the first goal, you'll get a free bet because Sportingbet will give you your money back.
That is nice of them.
That is nice of them. And
That is extremely nice
and
of
that's
them.
why we like them.
That's why we love Sportingbet. That's very, very nice of them. Thanks, guys. So that's about it, isn't it?
Yep.
That's the roundup of the
week
first...
one done.
Week one absolutely done. So let's quickly go through them.
Quickly,
Oh.
we're not quite done because I need to tell all the Easy Odds viewers out there that we're going to have a Fantasy Premier League on
Yes.
fantasypremierleague.com, and Sportingbet, our friends Sportingbet, are also going to be sponsoring that, and they're
We
going to
love
be
them.
offering free bets. So every time that a month passes, we'll be giving away the manager who has had the best month. So
Yep.
you can enter now, or you could enter near Christmas, or you could enter the last month, and you still be in the chance of winning a free bet. So it's not all about who's the winner at the end. It's all about month by month, and you can win some free bets just by entering our
It's
Premier
free-
League.
it's free to enter, of course.
It's free to enter, and we'll put the URL at the bottom as well.
Why would you not enter?
Why would you not
Everyone uses fantasy football now. It's one of the best things ever.
Absolutely, and ours has got free bet prizes.
And you get free bet prizes. There is literally no reason why you wouldn't enter. I'm going to enter. Okay, so, first game. I can't remember what it was. Hull Leicester.
Yeah,
What was the tip?
Leicester to win 21-20.
Then it was Man City
Sunderland.
Sunderland. I've got them completely mixed up. Completely mixed up my things. Okay, Man City Sunderland. What was the
That
tip
is
there?
Man City to win and both teams to score at 2-1.
Okay, and then it was Bournemouth Man United. First game on Sunday.
Both teams to score at evens.
And Arsenal versus Liverpool.
My slightly fruity tip of a late goal to be scored at 5-6.
Okay, there we have it. The Premier League first week is done. We'll be doing
Yep.
tips for this every single week, every
Yep.
Thursday.
Looking forward to it. We'll have plenty to talk about from the managers in their Royal Rumble too.
Yeah. Hopefully by the end of the season, the Royal Rumble will have finished. Big Sam would have done a choke slam out of nowhere to Jurgen Klopp, and that'll be it. Obviously, I'll be doing tips for the horse racing every week. The anti-post race that weekend, I've actually just done a Judgment International tip for next week
Yep.
for 14-1 and 10-1 tips. Obviously, remember to subscribe to our channel with a watermark. I think it's either down there or there. I can never remember. Yeah, obviously you can use our website for the best odds of comparison. Remember to sign up and everything.
And install the app.
And install the app, of course.
Which very, very soon is going to have some in-app betting, so you don't even need to leave our app to place your bets.
Which is very, very handy.
Absolutely.
So thanks for watching. That was Easy Odds Premier League videocast. And Jake Johns or Ross Casey?